Hey guys, you're welcome back to Reviews and Recaps. So today I wanted to discuss the fact that Mattel showed up to the kids' party, and so I wanted to do like a clip by clip analysis. And also, if any one of you want to come up, you're welcome to come up as well. So let's get into it. So what I'm going to do is I'll show the clip and then I will pause in between. So similar to how I did the last clip by clip analysis that I did, so that you guys can see it for yourself. But also because of copyright issues, I'm not going to play everything in one go. So I'll keep on pausing in between. So yeah, let's get into it. So I'm just going to attach this to the stream. Okay.
This is a party I'm throwing for my daughter. You throw one for yours. Okay? Or have you thrown a party for any of your children since I left you?
That's a bit excited to play, isn't it? All right, let's start again.
I tell you can come to this. This is a party I'm throwing for my daughter. You throw one for yours. Okay? Or have you thrown a party for any of your children since I left you?
Okay, let's start again. Sorry. Okay, so let's start again now that I've fixed my audio issue. So just to give some context, so Martell showed up at the party that Melody was throwing for the kids. So I believe it's Mariah and Boss Baby. Correct me if I'm wrong. But so I'm gonna just start playing the clip and then pause it in between to like discuss.
I tell you can come to this. This is a party I'm throwing for my daughter. You throw one for yours. Okay? Or have you thrown a party for any of your children since I...
Oof. Okay, there was a lot to unpack there. It's like she's saying to him, why did you basically show up? And I think Mattel has a pattern of showing up uninvited. He does not understand boundaries. Like if you remember on one of the previous episodes in this season, he was trying to walk Melody to her car, and Melody insisted on not being walked to her car, but he kept pushing it. He kept saying, oh, he knows she doesn't mean it. Like, who are you to say what she means or doesn't mean? And when you think about it, that is someone that does not understand boundaries at all. And so that is a pattern. That is a very, very negative pattern. It's like if someone should be able to say yes and let their yes be yes. And if they say no, then let their no be no. There is no need for you to then think, oh, do they mean this or do they mean that? When they have clearly said what they mean. So if I was Melody, I would be so frustrated having to deal with this man. And the truth of the matter is, why couldn't he just have his own party? At the end of the day, they're separated. Most court orders, especially when there is like it's very contentious, would separate who gets the birthdays, when they get the birthdays. There's some orders that might be something along the lines of you get to spend the birthday with this child, and then the other parent spends the day before or the day after with the child, or they alternate the birthdays every year. So for instance, if you have them this year, then the next year the other parent has them. So that's usually what court orders tend to look like in relation to having birthdays or Christmases or things like that. And then in some scenarios also there might be, but usually that's more by consent. Maybe the parties are like, okay, on the morning of the birthday, you can take the child and then bring the child over, and then I have the child later on for the rest of the day. But that's usually where there isn't a lot of contention. But where there is a lot of contention, it's usually alternate. So you have this year, I have the other year. So yeah. So anyways, let's keep playing.
Left you. It's a private event that I am doing. I am asking you to remove yourself. I just would rather.
So it's almost like he had the audacity to be like, why would you do that? This is my thing. It's like, she just told you she does not want you at the party. She's throwing a private party for her children. How about you also throw a private party for your children when, for the children when you have them, right? So he's like, but why would you do that? It's almost like to understand why Melody is trying and insisting on her boundaries. You know how certain people, they treat you anyhow, right? They don't treat you well, they're horrible to you all the time. But then the first time, or whenever you decide to say, okay, I'm not going to allow this person around my space. So when they start asking to hang out with you, you're like, oh, I don't have time. They suddenly feel like, why don't you have time for me? I have to set boundaries for myself. Like, if someone is taking the piss out on you all the time, you need to have some wisdom to say, okay, perhaps I need to set some boundaries so that this doesn't continuously affect me, right? There were some other clips that I saw on the internet where it seems that actually in the past, Melody had invited Martell to certain birthday events, but he did not turn up. So it's allegedly, right? So what is this whole obsession with you knowing she's having a party and then you deciding to turn up? Like, if she decided to let you in, okay, fair, right? Fine, that's her decision. But if she doesn't let you in and she's like, no, I want to have this private moment with my children, why can't I? I don't see anything wrong with it. It's the same way if Martell decided to have a party and didn't invite Melody and didn't want Melody there, I would not have any issues with that. Like, it is not a problem and it really shouldn't be a problem. But anyways, let's keep playing.
You can get her later today.
This is the thing. Did you guys hear that? She's like, you can get her later today. Like, how hard is it? Like, literally, you can get her later today. That means, like, whatever happens, you can still pick her up after the party and do whatever it is that you want to do for her. Like, girl, what do you think? Like, before I continue playing this thing, like, what do you think so far? Slana?
Sorry. I didn't even know I was muted. Can
Oh,
you
it
hear me?
happens. Yeah, I can hear you now.
Oh, okay. So, when I first saw the video, because I already heard about this like news before, so I didn't even know it was going to air because I felt like it was just so terrible. Like, we've heard about this. The news came out about I think a month ago. So this thing happened a month ago. If we're following the timeline of what's happening in real life, so I for one did not expect it was going to make it onto the show. I thought we were going to like just sweep it under the rug. I thought they were going to like because this scene is terrible. I'm waiting to see how they are going to edit it for Saturday because they are not going to show how there were live witnesses that are bloggers. There were some bloggers that were live witnesses, so they know exactly what happened there, and it was terrible. So I don't know how they are going to edit it out and all, but that's on to them. But for my opinion, I think this is not the first time that Martell has come and he has actually encroached into Melody space. I was responding to somebody on Facebook when I told the person that the person was like, oh, Melody is being bitter. Can't she come together for the kids? And I said, this is the same reason why people get killed. Because every single time you have one person telling the mother, telling like it's always every time they tell the woman to just for the kids, just for the kids. They never have they never tell the dad that, oh, stop encroaching on these women's spaces. These women are very uncomfortable. They just think the woman should always have to keep quiet, always have to take whatever the man has to say and move on with it. Because that's exactly what's happening here. You have a court order that you guys get to have celebrate all these things separately. You know how funny this thing is? Mattel got the kids alone for New Year, got the kids for Christmas, got the kids like basically almost every single time they have like a celebration, the kids are with Martell. So Melody every year has to celebrate Christmas and New Year, probably most times a week after the thing happens.
Right.
And Martell is so hypocritical because he had Sugar Mama on her own birthday. He never celebrated that birthday. He had last year, that's 2022, when the custody problem started. Mel petitioned to the courts. That's how terrible this is. Mel petitioned to the courts that she wanted Martell like to get to see if they can each come to the same, I don't like to the same like celebration or so. And you know what? She gave Martell the invite, told him where they were doing it. Do you know where Martell was?
Atlanta, ATL, baby. Allegedly.
That's where he was. It's not this is not even allegedly. That's exactly where he was.
Yeah, mad still.
And so now you're coming here acting all like, oh, you actually care for the kids. This is for the kids, blah blah blah. It's just like this is not needed. This is about this is about encroaching Melody space. This is about having control. It's no more about the kids. And people keep saying it's a good. This is what I say when people say Mattel is a good father. I'm like, I don't see that as a good father. You say if you said he was a present dad, I would say yes. A
Mm-hmm.
good father would not expose his kids to COVID because of one night stand. A good father will not destroy the marriage because of he cannot control his pennies. A good father will not take the kids through an unnecessary custody battle because of his ego. So I don't know what's the definition of a good father,
And he will
but
not record his children in that way and try to
yeah.
be, and
So
then excuse it.
that's
Just
why
saying.
the correct thing they should be saying is a present father. That's why I keep saying it's a present father. And I'm not going to come against him or drag him because I definitely am not there. But a present father will fit more into the narrative of what they are trying to play.
Mhm. Yeah. No, I completely agree with that. I think it's just another form of control, and it's quite sad that a lot of people don't realize it, because sometimes I'm like reading the comments and people are like really going off on Melody, basically talking about how she's not trying to do what's in the best interest of the children. Why is she stopping him from showing up to the kids' party? And like, why do you show up uninvited? Who do you think you are? It's like you're trying to create this narrative that you're a good dad at all cost. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, it comes across as he's only doing it for attention. He's only doing it so that people can give him props for being a so-called, in quotation marks, good father, right? Like, it's very much given, oh, let me do this so that like everyone, the whole world will see that
You
I'm a good
see,
father, right? But a good father does not do that. Like, you've come to the birthday party to cause a scene. Do you think the
did you see the way
children
he
will not?
was shouting and screaming? that
Exactly.
was that one totally off me. I was like, ah, wow.
Like, it's unhinged. It's like I always just think about it and I'm just like, what if there were no cameras there? Like, what if there were no cameras there? Would it escalate even
It's
further than it already has?
it's most definitely worse outside the cameras. There's nothing anybody can tell me.
Yeah. That's my belief as well. That's really what I believe, because I struggle to be like, how can someone act like this publicly, right? With no care in the world, and then you are telling me that this man is not unhinged. Like,
Um,
I just struggle with that personally, right? So then, if we go back to the clip, let me just play the clip.
Sorry, I removed my channel.
Tell you you could come to this.
Oh, well, Did it go back to the
Yeah, I was just saying that I removed my channel because of the clips are not edited.
Oh, is it? Okay, fine, fine, fine. No worries, no worries.
Yeah.
My dog's birthday.
Okay. So my thing is, it's like you're showing up to an event uninvited, right? You're causing a scene.
Without any gifts.
Exactly. It's like you've come empty-handed. You're not even coming with like an apology, like, oh hey, I'm so sorry. Like you've come with no apology whatsoever. Like that does not make any sense.
No apology, no gifts, nothing.
Yeah, not even like, oh, thank you so much for what you've put together. Da, da, da. I apologize for showing up. I just really wanted to see the kids. Like, if he had come in that way, who knows? Maybe she would have been like, do you know what? Just come in and sit or whatever, right? And
Yeah.
so I don't know. But the other thing that made me feel like, oh, this is a pattern with him is I don't know if you remember, I believe was it last season or the season before, when Melody was doing her launch
It was
party.
the season before.
Right. So she was doing the launch, her I think it was like a video launch, and he turned up unannounced, uninvited. And I was just like, why? Why, sir? Like, why would you show up? No boundaries whatsoever. And it was like he was so shocked that she called him out on it and also was not really like engaging with it. And then I don't know if you remember the interaction between them outside. I'm just going to play that. Let me just get the right.
Definitely don't need more blow up fights like what happened in Vegas at my video premiere party.
So I heard through the grapevine that you was having this event, so I want to come and show some support.
I definitely wasn't expecting you to be here.
I bet.
That's why you weren't given an invitation.
Yep. I love that directness. It's like, that's why I did not give you an invitation, period. Still.
And I just felt that it's
But
only
people
right for me to
don't
come
care.
here.
That's the thing. I've never understood, like, when people, like, we have beef, right? We're not friends. We're not cordial in that way. If you show up to my event, that is a sign. That's an aggressive step, in my opinion. That's how I feel. Like, if I'm not talking to you and you've done me dirty and you have the audacity to show up at anything I'm throwing, I'll be looking at you like, what are you doing here? Like, to me, you've come for some BS. Because it doesn't make any sense. The only time where I'll be like, okay, maybe, is if, like, you approach me straight away, pull me to the side, and you're like, I'm so sorry. I didn't want to show up unannounced, but I really wanted to support you. And just give that disclaimer. Then maybe I'll feel a little bit better. I'm probably still going to be a little salty, but maybe I'll feel a lot better. But for you to just turn up unannounced and then casually to the party and then be acting like it really is your party, like, seriously? Nah.
And now I'm starting to see the reason why he sent all those documents to Cheryl. Because now if you go to the comment section on Facebook, they're like, oh, you guys can remember the emails that Mel's kids sent to Martell. So definitely Mel knew about it. And actually I'm happy that some people are smart enough to say there is nowhere in this place that showed that Mel agreed for Martell to come. Neither did any of the emails show that this, like, we didn't see the kids' names. So obviously, how did this message get across to Martell? So now I'm actually understanding why all this drama, all these revelations happened this week. Because this week, let's be frank, it's not going to look good for Martell at all. So it might as well throw the blame, throw make someone else look bad so that everybody will come for Melody. He, as I've always said, Martell is a professional victim.
Right.
Because the way he's so confident enough doing all this and acting like people are against him for some reason that he just doesn't understand. I have to give it to him. Like, it's not easy to be that unhinged.
Period. Like, I'm like, nah, I would like to be a fly on the wall if he ever goes to therapy. Like, there's lots of things, in my opinion, that are
Didn't
wrong.
they cut other therapy for him? Oh, it was an evaluation. I don't know if he's really going to get therapy, but it's very necessary. The way he acts, the way he does as if someone owes him something. I don't think it's a healthy character to go on with.
Yeah, he's very entitled. He's very entitled. And Winifred is saying, yeah, I do agree. It's about coming for her. They don't understand boundaries at all. I completely agree. Like, yes, and it is a form of mental attack. Yeah. I think he's unhinged, and like any opportunity to come at his, it's almost like he blames her for the demise of the relationship. And so he's treating her like she's the enemy.
He probably hates
Don't
the fact
understand.
that she left.
Yes, because I don't know if you remember something that she said, which gave the impression that he wanted a wife that would keep quiet, say nothing about the fact that he's cheating outside as long as he doesn't bring it home.
But he was bringing it home. This
Exactly.
girl
So
got
I'm like,
pregnant
either
3
way.
times.
Exactly. I'm like, either way, he was bringing it home. If you're gonna cheat, cheat like how some of your friends allegedly are cheating. And yeah, no, Fred, I completely agree. He likes the idea of marriage. It's like someone likes the idea of marriage. He wants to get the sex on tap. He wants to have the opportunity to have someone take care of him, cater to him, all that good stuff. But to be faithful, he does not want to have to put in anything. But yeah. Mm-mm. Okay, let me keep playing the clip.
And let you know that I do support you.
A phone call could have done that.
You know, we talk every single day.
I'm saying a phone call first of saying, hey, Mel, I know your video's coming out. I support you. Congratulations.
Yeah.
That could have happened first.
But
instead of you just kind of crashed.
Yep, that's the thing. A phone call could have done it. Like I said, it's like, oh, a phone call or even a text message. I support you at this. Give that person a heads up. Because sometimes, like when you have an event, you're already nervous about everything happening and like going according to plan and everything working out well. And then when someone shows up unannounced, you're just like, seriously, like I wasn't even planning for you. I didn't have the energy for you. Like I had the energy for my guest, but now I got to deal with someone like you. So yeah. Keep watching.
My party.
No, I'm not gonna crash anything. It's all positive vibes here. No crashing
really?
anything. 100%.
Okay, come on, positive vibes. Where you get that lingo?
Well, it's just what it is. I mean, seriously, though.
Good.
And I'm really supporting you. I was there in the beginning days of you working hard and putting your due diligence in to
This is the part that I need everyone to listen to. Did you hear where I was there from the beginning when you were doing your part and putting your due
Always
diligence in?
wants to be the one to make Mel. That's why every single time he's happy when people are like, Martell made Mel.
Exactly. He loves it. I'm like, how can you make someone but you cannot make yourself great? You've had how
Apparently,
many years
you
to
don't
make yourself.
understand that.
You've had so many years to get your ish together, but you still haven't. You've had how many years to come up with one good business strategy, one good business, something. You haven't been able to do that.
Don't even get me started on that wine. Because the
Oh
wine
God.
still. I don't pray for someone's business to spoil, but it's the fact that he put no energy, no advertisement, no nothing. He just stopped talking about it.
Yep. That yeah, I I think I don't know what sort of agreement he actually got into because allegedly a lot of people ordered wines and never got their wines allegedly, okay?
Uh-huh.
So I don't know, maybe there's something there and he's like now trying to run away from that liability. and so he's trying to take a step back from the wine because word on the streets allegedly is there were some comments that were just disappearing from from the comment section every time the wine was being talked about. Okay.
I mean, people kept complaining, I've not gotten my wine, I've not gotten my wine over 2 months, over 3 months. I really don't understand why he went for wine. It's like he cannot think for himself.
Yep.
And when I see this thing, I'm now wondering people that keep claiming he made Mel, his thinking process is just weird. How could he have made Mel when he has no original idea of his? He probably wanted to be chocolate in a bottle 2.0 because that's the
Mm,
only reason I feel like he went for wine.
yeah.
Gone for
You have
suits. He could have gone for so many things, but he ruined it all.
Yeah, it's like you have no ideas, and the ideas that you do have, even if you don't have any original ideas, right? A lot of people don't really have original ideas, but they're very good at executing whatever it is that they set their minds to, right? So let's say you're not very good at original ideas. Yes, someone else has the idea, but how can you make it good, right? Even if I don't think wine is for him, he could have still made some good money from that. But a good business person will make sure all of the people that have tried to get this wine are able to get their wine and ASAP. Because if they like the wine, then they will come back. It's just basic. But it's like you don't want to do anything with this. It's like you're just doing it so that it can be like, oh, you have something to do. But the truth is, why couldn't you do something with suits? Why couldn't you do something with fitness? Like if you come up with like workouts, um, you know, videos, if you come up with like workout clothes, do you think people won't buy it? People already know how fit he is. So they will jump on it, right?
Definitely.
But you cannot, we've never really seen you like a wine drinker throughout the season. Is that right? And then suddenly you're like, oh, I've come up with the wine, but you couldn't even give a good speech as to how you came up with the wine. You know how with like wines, a lot of them have such a good story where you're like, oh, this is like, oh, I understand. So, I grew up, around the vineyard and like they come up with like this really interesting story with the wine. You couldn't come up with anything interesting to sell the wine, anything interesting to even pique people's attention about the wine, in my opinion. But anyways, let's keep watching the clip.
To get you here. So I think it's only right for me to show up. We do.
So he's saying she did her due diligence to get her here. But the way it's coming across, it's sort of coming across as someone that is trying to take credit. I was there from the beginning. So, you didn't just do it of your own accord. I was practically there with you. So, of course, I have to show up because it's our thing. That's what it's given, in my opinion.
We have 4 children together, so I better support your ass. And I hope you be successful.
When he said this, with what we know now, I wonder if that was because of child support. That he's like, you better be successful because we have 4 children together. I'm like, I wonder if it's about the child support. Well, the reason I wanted to play this clip is because I felt like people were acting like Mattel showing up to this kid's birthday is a one-off. But if we watch the season, I didn't even have time to like get a lot of clips together, but this was the only clip that I got together before the live, right? And excuse me. The thing is, if you watch the seasons back, you would see that he has no respect for anyone else. He does not appreciate boundaries. He is controlling, manipulative, abusive, and all of those things. He's constantly displaying those sorts of behaviors, including why are you trying to show up uninvited? That's also a form of control. And so when I see people say things where they are, when I see people say things where they're like, it's almost like, oh, they feel like, oh, Mattel is, is the innocent party here and Melody is just really upset all the time. And I'm like, are you guys watching what we are watching? It can't be because this man is constantly doing whatever he wants and getting away with it. If it's not the likes of Carlos constantly encouraging that behavior, in my opinion. But yeah, in terms of like what to expect, like with the next episode, I do hope that the scene about him showing up is actually played and not cut in all types of crazy ways. Because I just think like one thing I've noticed is I feel like, in my opinion, Carlos gives him the best edits because outside of the show, we see his behavior, we see the sort of things that the way he goes on these press tours and never really takes accountability, but is constantly sort of making it seem like, oh, I only cheated because of something my ex-wife wasn't doing, right? So when you think about all these like things, his lack of accountability, the fact that it almost seems like Carlos always almost seems to like coddle him, or it just makes me feel like, are we really going to get the real in the next episode? And I do have concerns as to whether this the edits would make out Melody to be a bit of a villain in this situation. Like, I already know a lot of people are sort of like coming at her and pretty much saying things like, just giving the impression that like, she's anti Mattel, she doesn't want to do what's in the best interest of the children and all of that stuff. But I personally just think like that's not the case at all. I think if she was dealing with someone who was reasonable, I personally think that she'd be able to co-parent with him. Like, but seriously, like, how would you co-parent with someone who's still sending you roses and trying to get back with you? Like, that just doesn't make any sense. It's like you're in completely different places. But anyways, if anyone wants to come up, I'm gonna leave the link is now in the chat. So feel free to click on the link and come up if you have anything to say on the matter. But yeah, in the meantime, let's keep playing this clip.
Because I mean, the more successful you are, the more it's going to help our children. So yeah, I mean, just do your thing. So it's like, congratulations to you and your song. I know I've been on that song for a minute.
So it sounds like he's like, oh, congratulations to you and, for the song and whatnot, which I'm like, okay, fair enough. And also looking at Mel's face, it looks like she was being receptive in that moment, of course.
But you say it ain't all about me. It's really about, empowering other women and really helping them get through their whatever, So, I mean, I didn't want to take all your time. I didn't want to speak in front of everybody,
yeah,
but
I appreciate you pulling me to the side. Appreciate that.
Did you see his facial expressions, right? This is the thing. I feel like he feels like because they were married and all this, like they should still have that level of closeness, right? So she's trying to shake his hand and then look at him. He's looking at her like his facial expression. He is pissed off. He is not impressed with that at all. He's just like, what, why are you gonna want to shake my hand? Like, why can't you just give me a hug? That's what it's given. Let me play it until the end so you guys can see it properly. Okay.
Appreciate that.
Look at his face. Look at that face. Girl, what do you have to add to this? Like, you're on mute, by the way, if you're saying anything.
I keep forgetting I'm muted. So I see when this particular episode premiered, I think that was like a year ago. They have like 2 seasons per year. I really don't understand how this show goes, but I do know that 2 seasons happen per year. So Mattel, I really don't get the point or what he was thinking, expecting her that she was going to come hug him after the whole messy divorce, after the everything. If you know what Martell has done to Melody, you'll be very shocked that she can even stand to be close to this dude.
100%.
That's how crazy it is. So the fact that he was expecting her to hug him, was expecting some sort of things, is like very crazy to me. This scene, that's what someone said. Um, when God created men, it was a joke though, so people don't take it seriously. Like when God created men, He knew that they didn't have enough sense, so He gave them audacity.
I've heard that statement before. That's hilarious.
Because this particular Melody and Martell's situation is audacity. It's just like the plain audacity of this dude to think she has to cater to him,
Mm,
because
yeah.
now it's all about catering to him. It's all about making him feel comfortable. It's all about him being happy. Nothing about her. Nobody's talking about how comfortable she is. Kids feed off energy, and I want people to get that. Kids feed off energy. And that was why I actually wanted to come life and talk about my story, because most people will think because I like to like spend money, lavish money, was because I probably had money. No, like I had a father that felt that um my own case is quite reverse. My mom were an average family. My mom was
Mm,
more of the person I was staying with. May I still rest in peace. Then my dad too was okay. So an average family basically living in Lagos, trying to like make it here or there. And when she passed away, you would think for someone who always said, "Oh, my children, my this, my that." When she left, you would think he was going to like step up or something, obviously, right?
mm,
But nah, there was no stepping up. I had to see myself from first year to the ending, like I'm nothing.
wow.
So he was most like, obviously my mom was way more comfortable than my dad, so definitely he was sticking because of that. Now he's married to another lady. He keeps coming trying to harass us up and down. So it's just like a really scary situation. That's why whenever I see women say, "Oh, just try to do this for the kids," try to. It's not like I was stupid and I didn't know what was going on all those years and
Mm,
all those times that I was younger. I knew. I've had like conversations with my mom. The kids are not stupid. The kids feed off energy. They know what's going on. Obviously, when I was younger, I didn't speak, but as I grew up, became a teenager, you obviously then have the probability of you speaking then was like higher. So
mm-hmm,
these kids are seeing. So whoever will bear the animosity when these kids grow is the person that's obviously wrong. And the way the kids are already acting, Maria shouting at her dad in public because of he was with Arion, and then this same man still brought these kids around this same lady. That shows you that he doesn't actually care about these kids. So when I hear people, that's why I made that comment in the beginning that when people say he's a good father, I'm like, I don't resonate to that statement. What I feel like is a present father.
mm,
Being present doesn't make you good. If you are good, you are always having to think for the benefit of your children. And are you doing it?
mm. Nope. It sounds like it's all about Mel.
Yeah. And that was why I was like, I really want to tell my story, because most people are like, oh, your parents did really well taking care of you. Your parents did really well. Now you graduated, you did this, you did that. That kind of statement. You just
It's
have to
so
start.
annoying when people say things like
You don't want to engage in all those kind of conversations, because when you start talking, it's just really exhausting
that.
on both ends. So whenever I just tell people that, oh, I saw myself through school and all this and that, the next thing people are like, oh, how did you do medical school and what can I were doing this? I'm like, "Ah, I did it and I survived. I didn't die." So
Mm,
you any other person who can do it too. So now I was really like I was going to tell my story, but then obviously the light situation. Can you imagine that as I was talking to you, they then brought power?
Really? Can you
But
imagine?
I'd already taken off my makeup. I already changed my clothes. I can't do that thing. I can't,
I know
I
what you
can't,
mean.
I can't wear anything at this point. Till
Yeah.
next week, I don't have the energy at this point.
No, I feel you do. I feel you. And to be fair, like I do think like you've done quite well. And also, first of all, like thank you for actually sharing your story. Now I know you haven't gone into a lot of detail, but thank you for sharing that. Like, and I'm sure like people listening, there are some people that will be able to like relate to some of the things that you said. And it's so frustrating sometimes when people say things like that. Like it's okay to give someone a compliment, but if you don't know their story, don't say things like your parents did so you don't know. You know what I mean? And so
Yeah.
I would say that people should be very careful because sometimes to you, it might not be a trigger, but to some other people, it could be, saying things like that when that's not the reality.
Sorry, my cat is crying again. I don't know
Oh,
what's wrong with it
no.
today.
So usually when your cat cries, I've never had a cat. Like, so what is it usually about? Is it like food or trying to like,
Food,
oh,
attention, just disturbing generally.
oh, okay. Have you ever had a dog before? Just curious.
I'm very anti-dog.
Is
I don't
it?
know. I have a stigma from when I was younger.
Oh my God, did the dog bite you?
Pursued me since then. I've just been. I'm not scared of them anymore, but I really do not like them.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Okay, okay. Well, I think that's it for today, to be honest. Thank you very much for coming on. And thank you very much to everyone for like listening and for those like who contributed in the comment section, thank you very much for that. Also, if you haven't given this video a thumbs up, please make sure you give this video a thumbs up so that other people can watch the replay and find the video. Also, please subscribe to both of our channels. You can see the details. It's at Reviews Recaps and at Talk with Slana. So yeah, we'll be doing a lot of like live videos here and there. If you want to see more live videos, let us know in the comment section below. And if there's anything in particular you want us to cover that we haven't done yet. But yeah, thank you very much for your time, and we'll see you guys later. Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Bye.